We've been seeing COVID-19 restrictions easing in several states because of a steady decline in cases. And so that's resulted in people thronging markets, roads and metro stations. In many cases, these locals have been caught brazenly violating COVID-19 norms, throwing caution to the winds. This will undoubtedly increase the country's problem in the fight against COVID. Here's a detailed report on how we've been reporting violations from different parts of the country.
Not 100, not 1,000. Over 5,000 cars entered Shimla in just a day. Just hours after Himachal Pradesh announced relaxation of curbs after a decline in COVID case load, endless traffic jams were seen in Solan district. In the mad rush to enter the hill state in the middle of a hot summer, revelers seem to have forgotten the pandemic is not over yet.
5,000 vehicles क्रॉस की शोगी के अंदर आई. That means टूरिस्ट इन्फ्लक्स बहुत बड़ा है. मेरा आग्रह रहेगा कि टूरिस्ट आएँ. आपका बहुत स्वागत है हमारे शिमला में, हमारे हिमाचल में. बट कोविड अभी भी हमारे बीच में है, भूलिएगा मत. लापरवाही मत कीजिए. जो भी प्रोटोकॉल है, खासकर मास्क वेयर करना, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग, सैनिटाइजेशन का ध्यान रखना और इत्यादि, आप उनका ध्यान रखें.
The crowds are not limited to Himachal. In the national capital, people thronged markets as if there was no tomorrow. At metro stations, authorities closed few gates to restrict capacity to 50%.
अभी बस वही कह रहे हैं 50% है तो इसलिए अब ओपन होगा, मेट्रो आएगी, अब ओपन करेंगे शायद ये.
But that did not pan out well. People in Delhi aren't the only COVIDians. These images from Indore will shock you even more. All social distancing norms thrown to the wind. Having suffered the deadly COVID wave, one would have expected citizens to learn a few lessons from the harrowing 3 months. But clearly, that isn't the case. With Kumar Kunal in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
MK Stalin a year ago staged a symbolic protest against the then AIADMK government, and this was over the reopening of liquor shops amid a pandemic. Now, Stalin is facing fire for doing exactly the same thing as EPS. The Chief Minister has announced the reopening of TASMAC shops. They've reopened in 27 districts of Tamil Nadu. Tipplers are rejoicing in the state. The opposition is fuming.
This is how locals celebrated the opening of liquor shops in districts of Tamil Nadu. After over a month, TASMAC liquor stores have been opened up in 27 districts of the state. Triplers, as you can see, are elated. The opposition not so much. The Stalin government's announcement has been met with anger, as the AIADMK has now called the DMK as hypocrites. Because last year, MK Stalin had led a protest against the EPS government's decision to open liquor shops. The BJP also held a statewide protest on Sunday against the government's decision.
As you sow, so you reap. So that time, MK Stalin came out and said, playing with the lives of the people during pandemic. Isn't this government shameful to run this government through the source of liquor? These were the kind of narratives. He carried even a placard protesting against opening of TASMAC.
Chief Minister, when he was an opponent party, he opposed to open the TASMAC shop, that is liquor shops. He came to the power. Immediately he gave the order to open because now the cases are not reduced.
The DMK, however, has defended the move of reopening liquor shops, saying it has been done only in districts with low caseload.
Those people who have been protesting yesterday, the BJP leaders, Why don't they cross 65 kilometers and go to Puducherry and go to the governor of Tamil Nadu and post all their slogans? Because they opened their liquor shop 1 week earlier. So why are you having two different ads? Why are you not? It suits you because you are not. They are not unable to find a single fault on our Chief Minister M.K. Stalin.
Amid a pandemic, if you're wondering why opening liquor shops is a priority, it's simple. Government-owned TASMAC shops are cash cows in the state and will help the government pool in much-needed revenue.
With liquor shops opening, the government has assured that all COVID norms will be followed. However, DMK is also facing flack for protesting against the same move last year, but changing stance after coming to power. With video journalist Divyan, Pramod Madhav for India Today.
As over 10 lakh students seek clarity on Class 12 assessment, the CBSE will be announcing the criteria in the next 48 hours. What we're hearing is that students may be evaluated on pre-board marks on Class 10 and Class 11 marks, which may also play a key role in evaluation.
More than 2 weeks after Prime Minister Modi cancelled CBSE board exams for Class 12 students due to the pandemic, suspense over the exam results continue. And more than 10 lakh students are waiting for clarity on the assessment procedure.
प्रायोरिटीज ऑनेस्टली स्पीकिंग अब मुझे नहीं पता दैट रिजल्ट किस बेसिस पर होगा मतलब अब इसमें हो सकता है कि कुछ बच्चे जो डिजर्व नहीं करते उनको अच्छे परसेंटेज आ जाए कुछ बच्चे जो पढ़ लेते हैं उनके परसेंटेज थोड़ी उनके मतलब सेटिस्फाइड ना हो सो आगे अफेक्ट तो करेगा ये करियर में क्योंकि कॉलेज में एडमिशन्स किस बेसिस पर मिलेगी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ वो नहीं पता तो या
एक तो पहले तो डिसीजन एकदम से सडनली लिया गया इतना प्रेयर्ड नहीं थे बल्कि एक होप थी कि एग्ज़ाम होंगे क्योंकि सीबीएसई एक बहुत ही क्रूशियल क्लास होती है आपका फ्यूचर का बहुत मेन क्लास होती है और डिसीजन मेरे हिसाब से थोड़ा अनफेयर था क्योंकि जिन बच्चों ने सच्ची में बहुत मेहनत करी है उनके साथ थोड़ा सा कह सकते हैं नाइंसाफ़ी हुई है पर उम्मीद ये है कि अब असेसमेंट आगे अच्छी हो ताकि हमारी परसेंटेज अच्छी आए क्योंकि कई कॉलेजेस ऐसे हैं जो अपने एंट्रेंसेस भी नहीं ले रहे हैं वो मेरिट पे ही लेंगे
The CBSE might put an end to the students' anxiety in the next 48 hours. Sources have told India Today that the CBSE has zeroed in on evaluating students on the basis of their performances in previous exams. Evaluation will be carried out on the basis of pre-board exams as well as performance in class 10th and 11th.
12वीं का जो भी क्राइटेरिया डिसाइड होगा वो कंसल्टेंसी के साथ होगा जस्ट एंड प्रॉपर होगा और किसी बच्चे का किसी तरह का नुकसान होने की कोई गुंजाइश नहीं होगी.
The board had also rejected reports of it following a no marks criteria to evaluate students. Remember, Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia had written a letter to Union Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank with similar suggestions. Sisodia had suggested that 30 marks weightage be given to pre-board results, while 20 marks each be considered for class 10th and 11th results. The remaining 30 marks should be decided on basis of practical exams. The CBSE faces a big test of finalizing a fast and fair assessment formula for the students. Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, a science student in Odisha's Cuttack has taken a job of a delivery girl after her father lost his job due to the COVID lockdown. The girl, who aspires to become a doctor, took up this job to support the family and also help her siblings in their education.
Bishnu Priya from Cuttack dreams of becoming a doctor one day. She was working towards realizing her ambition when the COVID pandemic changed her life completely. Bishnu Priya's father, who was working as a driver, lost his job. Seeing him struggle to make a living, Bishnupriya decided to take a break from studies. She became a Zomato delivery girl.
My family are struggling through the financial conditions, so I thought I should join Zomato, and it can help my financial condition for my family, and some of the burden I could take on my head, so my family could feel proud of me.
This class 12 student from Shailabala Women's College does not just deliver food. Bishnupriya also teaches neighboring kids every day from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. hoping to save enough money to pay for her college and for education of her siblings.
परिस्थिति आज लॉकडाउन रे समस्त तो परिस्थिति जटिल हो पड़ी आमर सिचुएशन को लेकिन से आज बाहर को गोड़ बाहर करे हेला और जोमाटो रे जॉइन कला और जोमाटो भी चांस देची ताको जो हिसाब रे से जे काम करूची मते बहुत खुशी लागुची.
While Bishnupriya is an inspiration, her story is also a reminder of the disastrous economic cost of lockdowns. Bureau Report, India Today.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi may visit the United States later this year to have an interaction with President Joe Biden if the COVID situation is under control. Speaking exclusively to India Today, Taranjeet Singh Sandhu, who is the Indian envoy to the United States, has said that this visit will likely take place for the crucial Quad Strategic Alliance Summit. Here's an excerpt of that exclusive conversation.
Can we expect Prime Minister Modi's visit this year after the Biden administration has taken over? Is there any conversation on a visit front by Prime Minister Narendra Modi later this year to America?
Let's just take the period of the Biden administration. As you are aware that there have been very high-level political exchanges. Prime Minister Modi has spoken to President Biden 3 times since Biden's election. Prime Minister participated in the Quad Virtual Leaders Summit and also in the Leaders Summit on climate change. You are aware EM visited the United States last month and met all the key interlocutors. And prior to that, EM had met Secretary Blinken at G7 foreign ministers meeting. Secretary Austin and Special Envoy Kerry both have visited India. The Commerce Minister has spoken to his counterpart. Other cabinet members, finance, energy, health, they have all spoken to their counterparts. Of course, NSA has been in touch with his counterpart here. At the Quad Virtual Leaders Summit in March this year, there was a clear decision that leaders will hold an in-person summit by end of 2021. And to your second question, Prime Minister has had a warm and a productive conversation with Vice President Harris, during which he invited the Vice President to visit India soon after the normalization of global health situation.
And before I slip into a short break here on India Today, here's a look at a unique protest held by environmental protesters outside the G7 summit venue. They're wearing giant heads, as you see there on your screens, portraying the G7 leaders and posing after a demonstration on a beach. They're protesting over climate change and also vaccine sharing.